Comedian Raymond Orta. What's up, brother?
My brother and slash father figure from another mother.
Your mentor.
My mentor. Yeah. Sensei. El Sensei Rock. Anyway, you're killing it on social media, bro.
Well, I'm trying, man. Just stay busy. You know what happened with me is I decided to just focus on one platform instead of all three, dude. You know what I mean?
I got to hand it to you, bro. Your PBT and your Gold Club content. Top notch.
Yeah, and
you've been killing the game.
Yeah, I follow this channel called La Bravata, and the guy interviews like Mexican musicians, like norteño guys and all that. And I went on his, I stumbled on one of his interviews, and I was watching it, and it's just like a one-on-one like this. And then I went to his channel, and it was an interview, and I said, I want to check that one out. And I couldn't get in, and it said members only. And I'm like, oh. I said, you know what? That's a good idea.
El members only. No, bro. You know what you've always been good at? Is I was talking to a buddy of mine, is el pinche rock desgraciado to keep you hanging. Like when we were on the radio, when we were reaching the peak of our conversation and the juiciest moments, you'd be like, oh, hold that thought. We'll be right back. You'd play some commercials, and then people in the car, they can't get off the car. Yeah, they're waiting to go to work.
Yeah.
And, hey Rock, no manches. They'd be calling you.
It's like, Rock, there's a lady here that wants to suck the Chief's toe. Oh yeah? Well, hold on, we'll be right back.
There's people in their truck like, oh, I gotta.
I remember some guy saying that he was on his way to Corpus and the signal started getting weak, so he parked on the side of the road for like an hour to listen to the rest of the show, dude. It was crazy, man. But
that's listenership right
there. Man, that's the way to get people to engage. But man, that was like, back in the mid 2000s, 2005, where we had it wasn't even Facebook, it was another
MySpace.
That's it, and that was just to pick up chicks and shit.
Bro,
right?
como me encantaba el MySpace, güey.
See,
I had, bro, because you could set songs on your page.
Okay,
so music, bro. You could say a lot of things with songs on your page, like tirar indirectas to your haters, or maybe you're dating a girl and she'd go to your page and she's like, oh, like, what's he mean by that? Like, no, I would play mind games with my wife all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then she would play mind games too. Like, you'd go to her page, it's like, a scrub is a guy that thinks he's fly. It's like, hey, ¿qué onda?
Yeah, I didn't go that deep on that, man. But then Facebook came around and it just changed the whole game, and it was crazy. And at the beginning of Facebook, there was a lot more freedom, a lot more less censorship. YouTube came around, and the shit that made YouTube huge, like bum fights and stuff like that, they ended up taking all that. I mean, everything's censored now. It's pretty incredible.
Where would you say is the freest place to put out stuff right now?
Man, I don't know, because I haven't really tried Rumble.
I would say there, or Kick.
Yeah, to me, YouTube is the more user friendly. It's easier to navigate through it. The only gripe I have about all these social media platforms and YouTube video platforms and stuff like that is whenever you have any issue, they don't have any customer service,
Oh, yeah.
It's like, just send us your grievance, Okay, no, I want to talk to somebody because, for example, the other day I put a video of a tornado and it has a woman orgasming,
I love those
because the weather was bad here in South Texas.
Yeah.
So there was a tornado footage from Palmview, and then people would hit it.
They get frightened.
Right. So I put it up, and then I kept going back, and I had 20 comments. Me chingases, I'm with my mom, and I'm in line to buy food, and
great.
You know what I mean. So those, like, whenever I would do those in the past, by the end of the day, I had 600 comments and tags, and people from I don't even know where they're from, dude. It just travels like fire, right?
Yeah, those are funny, dude.
So I went back and I was like, where is it? They took it down.
For what?
Well, I went and it said, we took your video down. You crossed one of our policies, which is no nudity or sexual activity.
Wow.
And I'm thinking the algorithm or the AI caught the sound of the woman so automatically thought it was a dirty video or something like that.
Okay.
So I could have, like, if you want to, challenge or review it or whatever, you can do that. But I said, nah, screw it, man. Ya cagaron todo el palo.
Yeah, because then once it comes back, it doesn't have the same traffic.
No, and then the weather's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's one of those things where, but I was shocked. I was like, man, I used to be able to have fun with those videos on my page,
me too,
man.
all the time, bro. All the time.
And sometimes they let it go a little bit with nothing, and then, and then just they'd be watching it. I'm in church. I'm doing whatever, with my mom. But no, I appreciate you, Raymond. We go back quite a long ways, and the way we ended up, working together was pretty interesting. When I came back from rehab, man, and I had that afternoon radio show, and I ended up, doing really well in the afternoon with my two crazy friends, Puro Pore Pete Valderas and El Chief, and in the morning it was you, Mando, and Bonnie, and then they asked me to do the mornings, and I didn't want anybody but you, and I wanted you to just come in with your old man voice, because you were very talented. I'd listen to you.
Doing a bunch of characters. Characters.
I'd listen to you in the mornings, and you had Sean Connery, you had the Indian guy. I don't know if you could get away with that nowadays, right?
For real, right?
And then you had, Bill Clinton, and you were doing all kinds of voices throughout the morning. But the one that I really, really related to, and I'm from the streets of the Rio Grande Valley, it was like your old man, Plutarco, right?
Yeah.
And I remember bringing you on and having you just focus on Plutarco, establishing him as a character, and then slowly bringing you in as his provider grandson. And it got to the point where I was just in amazement in the mornings when I'd see you go back and forth from yourself to the old man and back to yourself.
Arguing with myself.
I know, dude. It's like Robin Williams style.
That was funny, dude. I think that's what sold it to a lot of people, thinking that there was me and an old man there. Because there was this old lady that went to the station once looking to take Plutarco, my grandpa, out on a date. And I'm just like, well, that's me, ma'am. And she's like, no, I'm talking about the old man.
Yeah.
Like, ese soy yo.
And then the crazy things that we would get away with in the mornings was just absolutely insane. It was insane.
Yeah. Somebody commented the other day about the child support prank call that we did, bro.
That was like the greatest hits, one of the greatest hits.
Gotcha, dude. People still talk about it to this day, bro.
Yeah, man. But
my favorite memory of that time and era when we were on the radio was when this lady called us. I don't know what we were doing, either the prank calls or something with the chief, where we were joking around with him, and this lady had to pull over to unbutton her girdle because she was suffocating. She couldn't breathe anymore. That's
I remember that Mr. S, he made us do an interview with some psychiatrist lady, remember?
Yes,
and she was like really funny and rowdy and like a totally out there person. And then we'd have her like kind of like
diagnosing the chief,
right? And it she ends up, ya sé lo que tiene el chief, tiene diarrea de la boca. That was his diagnosis.
That was his diagnosis. You have diarrhea of the mouth.
We drove that psychiatrist out of the show, man.
She drove her nuts.
She ended up having to go get therapy herself, dude, after us, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It was just some of the craziest things.
No holds barred. Dude, bro, they ruined a good thing because of the corporate people didn't know how to handle us.
And it's very different now, I mean, you have to be very careful with all this censorship and all the sensitivity going on around there, all the race baiting and, and stuff like that. It's pretty sad.
Cancel culture will get you.
Yeah, and but we're still here and we're still able to do a bit. But comedy has really been affected by all this the most, I think, because we were able to be funny on the show and be crazy and really push the envelope.
Can you imagine getting the tranny that you had doing the millionaire game?
Yeah.
Would that even be acceptable nowadays?
And, I mean, to some it would, to some it wouldn't, and it only takes, and it could be acceptable to 100 people, but if it's unacceptable to 2 people
that complain enough,
that's it. You're done. It's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. That's all it takes for a corporation to like shake in their pants and say, okay, we don't want this negative publicity. So you know what? Cut it out.
That's it. What pretty much was happening with us, because we were puro no holds barred, and then it was all improv.
Yeah.
And they wanted us to script everything out. Like, no, pues we can't. you can't script what we were doing.
How the hell were we coming up with all those crazy contests like the mango sucking contest, remember? And we had guys come in sucking on the mango and they had to do like,
My favorite thing is when we gave away the 100 grand chocolate bar.
Oh, yeah.
And we gave away the 100 grand the whole morning. We were teasing it like, well, what would you do with your 100 grand? I was like, well, and we were being real vague about it. Like, well, I wouldn't share it.
Yeah.
You know? And then you were like, well, I'd give half to my mom.
Yeah.
You know, and we're talking about
half of the candy bar.
Candy bar, you know?
And then, you know what? I think we probably, out of all the history of radio in the Rio Grande Valley in the 956, we probably had the best April Fool's pranks ever.
Gotcha.
You know?
Gotcha. That was the funniest. For me, that was my favorite day.
Yeah.
That's actually, I got married on April Fool's, like on April 1st. That's my anniversary. So shout out to my wife. The lovely Kili Jean Orta.
Es todo. But yeah, when we put together the artists in San Antonio to be on a conference call with you, like if you were pretending to be at a restaurant that was an abandoned building and everybody was showing up for their free taco thinking that Raulito Navaira was there and that
with little
Carlos
Joe
Guzman and all these people, Jaime de Anda.
Yeah,
but
they're all there with Wally Gonzalez.
But the stuff we would plan out, dude. And another thing is that I doubted there was any other morning show in the Rio Grande Valley that could fill a dance hall full of people to do comedy. I mean, we started.
Oh, dude.
Because, you know, I saw you with Juan Villarreal for the very first time. You were a kid. I think you were still in high school.
Yeah, dude, I was 17, 18, like turning 18 around that time when I first did that show. I remember that show like it was one of those turning moments for me in my life because that's where you saw me and you kind of like recommended me to Mr. S to hey, like there's this guy that does comedy over here. Check him out for the radio while you were gone in rehab. And that gig really, I didn't know comedy like I know comedy now because there's rules. Like in comedy, you have to, when they give you the light, it's time to wrap it up and time to come up to the next. Bro, I didn't know that rule. So they told me to open up the show. I assumed you keep on going until you stop killing it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I was supposed to do like 5 minutes. I ended up doing 30. Like, el vato killing it.
With his glasses. You had glasses on back then, man.
Y el vato, Rob Jenkins was on the side giving me the light. And I'm just like, oh, he must think I'm killing it. Yeah, I'll keep on going.
Yeah.
And so I kept on going for like 30 minutes. And finally, they just tell me to, I finally just like said, well, that's good. Like, that's good enough. And I get off stage and he's like, dude, what'd you do? Like, you're supposed to do 5 minutes. I was like, no, man, I was killing it. Why would I get off after 5 minutes?
Yeah.
I was like,
that must have been like 2004, 2003, somewhere around there, man.
Crazy, bro.
Yeah. What year were you born anyway?
1985.
1985, man.
Powerful year.
That's the year I was supposed to graduate from high school.
See?
Yeah. I didn't make it. I didn't make it. I was working at South Padre Island. I got a job the year before as a DJ making, $5,000 a month. So,
bro, yeah.
I was like, I'm not going back to school.
Why would you, dude? That's crazy.
Yeah, you were being born, bro.
Yeah, I was barely an inch in my dad's pants.
Yeah, you were born in Stark County or where? Here in McAllen or
in
where?
Stark County, Rio Grande City.
They have a hospital over there?
In a clinic that's not there anymore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they have a hospital now, but I wasn't born in it.
No.
That's a much higher establishment than when I was born. It was like a kind of like one of those free clinics where I was born, bro.
What's your dad's your biological dad's name? What was his name?
Cirilo. Sí, güey. No,
Orta?
Cirilo Orta Jr. And my grandpa was Cirilo Orta Sr.
Okay.
And my dad got out of a life sentence because they messed up his name. They didn't put the junior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got caught with 11 tons of cocaine in Denver.
Holy shit.
11 tons of cocaine, wait, like 11 tons of cocaine.
That's Supermax type of cocaine, man.
You see, wait. And they wrote the ticket was given to Cirilo Orta, but his name was Cirilo Orta Jr. And they didn't put that on the paperwork, and the lawyer got him out off of that one discrepancy where they messed up on his paperwork.
And how old were you when that happened?
No, me estaba yo chavalón, and it was like one of those, like, he was always doing that. Like my dad I have a joke. It's like he was a truck driver, pero siempre he was driving with two loads, one on paper and one that's not on paper. Estaba double dipping el jefe, pero he was always doing those make it or break it type things, like
risk taker.
Sí, güey. So he was away at he was away at school for a good chunk of my childhood.
So, like, how old were you when he ended up? So he was in prison for a while, or what?
Yeah, he was like in for like 14 years. But it's because he was a real bad guy. I don't even know what he ended up going to prison for, but he would always tell me, like, when we were driving on the road, like, he'd be, mira, mijo, aquí, this guy cut me off one time, y lo alacié hasta que his truck just veered off the road. And I'm like, dang, for real. Like, see, I just kept on driving.
How did your mom and him meet? Like, do you have any backstory on that? Like,
the backstory on that, I really don't know. But my mom got pregnant really early.
See, she was a young. Was she a teen pregnancy?
She got pregnant at 16. She had me when she was 17.
And your dad was how old? He was like
20
something. So okay.
25. He was 25.
Okay.
He was 25. Pero el vato, he was just a terrible dude, bro. Like, he was a really malicious, violent guy.
A rebel.
Gacho, bandido, güey. Like, he was a violent guy. Like, le gustaba agarrarse a chingazos on the regular.
How old were you when he ended up in prison? Like, were you, what, 2, 3, 4?
No, I was like 5 or 6.
So was he there at the house with you guys? During that time.
By then, my mom and him got divorced when I was like 3 because he was physically abusive, like gacho, bro. Like one of the first actual memory that I have that I can remember all the way back to was me like beating my dad with a phone book because he's on top of my mom, like agarrándola, like at trancazos, way, like vicious
domestic violence, man,
gacho,
big time.
Gacho. And even like my dad was 6'5", like 300 pounds, bro, and he was a monster. Like, he was scary, dude. And then like to see that, to have that kind of relationship, like, my dad was the type of guy, like, if my mom would bring him a plato que estaba frío, like, he would throw it at her, like. ¿Qué estás haciendo?
Yeah.
And like
machismo, man.
Gacho, like to like extreme levels, you know? And so that's all my mom knew, like physical abuse, mental abuse. And then my mom decided that she was going to become a nurse.
Okay.
And she says, I'm going to take this nursing test to try to get away from this guy, like to try to pass, to just get away from this situation. And the day before she's supposed to go take the test, my dad la agarra a chingazos for like 7 hours at the house, bro. Like, beats her up, puts her like in like black eye. She had to wear a hoodie, glasses to go take the test with a throbbing headache and stuff like that. And my mom takes a test, and back then, if you passed, they would send you a small envelope with your nursing license, like a small driver's license sized license. But then if they would send you the big manila size envelope, that meant that you failed, and they were sending you the application to apply again.
Yeah.
¿Verdad? So she had to wait several weeks after she had done the test to get her results. I think she had to wait like 6 weeks, and every day she's going back and checking the mailbox, and my dad would be the guy that drives her to the mailbox and just telling her, no sé por qué estás checando el correo si estás bien burra, estás bien pendeja, like constantly just really just
putting her down
the whole time. And finally the day comes when she goes into the mailbox and she pulls out a card from the thing, and it was a manila envelope. And she's thinking, man, I have to reapply, and I didn't pass this test. And she opens up the manila envelope, and she opens it up, and there was no application process. All the way at the very bottom of the thing was her nursing card.
Wow.
And they had sent it with a big envelope, and she looks at it and she goes, and my dad when she pulls out the manila envelope, he was all like, te dije, pendeja, mira, and you tried so hard to be a nurse, mira, te mandaron una application porque estás bien burra. And my mom pulls out her license. She's like, mira, now I can get away from your ass, you know. And she divorced him. But my dad, this is how crazy manipulative my dad was. Like, psycho dude. He was brilliant, bro. Brilliant. Like, super smart. He at that time, you didn't have to go to school to be a nurse. You could just test out and take the test, and if you passed it, you became a nurse. El vato decided, he's like, he's gonna show my mom what's up. He gets the textbook, reads it over a weekend, goes and takes a test, and gets a nursing degree himself, just to show my mom, mira, yo también puedo, este jale no es nada. Not only that, he goes and becomes a nurse and actually starts treating people. And he's actually a great nurse. Like, he's treating patients, man, making them laugh. He's treating everybody like, man, I hear stories about how great of a nurse my dad was all the time. And my mom and him start working at this daycare center, at this nursing home. And my mom is working there during the day, and my dad is working there during the night. Well, my mom is suspecting that my dad was cheating on her. Mm-hmm. So my psycho mom decides she's going to wait in his car, like in the back seat, to see if she can bust him like in the act with another chick, right?
Yeah.
Well, mi dad sale para lunch break con otra ruca, and she gets in the car, and she's in the front seat with my dad, and y tienen el aircon puesto, and he's just driving, talking about, man, after lunch we should go pull into a hotel y a tirar un palo y cuanto, and just burying himself, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom's in the back seat listening to all of this, and she's got a gun on her. She's got a gun that she took with her, and she's like waiting to confront this guy when they're driving right now. And then he pulls up to the corner of Ware and Pecan, and they stop at a red light, and my dad turns off the aircon, like, because it had already cooled off in the car. And my mom gets up and goes, oye, préndelo otra vez porque todavía está caliente pa' acá pa' atrás. And she points the gun at his head, bro. He said, hijo de su, güey. The lady freaks out, bro. And she knows the lady. Like, the lady and her, like, they know each other. Mm-hmm. So, no, hombre, se está haciendo un escándalo. And my mom is like, hey, the lady gets off out of the car, bro, and books running, like, takes off running on Ware and Pecan Le Pone. And my mom drives my dad to, she tells him, like, hey, maneja pa'l canal. And this is where you're done. Your ending is right now, you know? And she's got him at gunpoint. Y lo saca del carro, like, he drives himself to the canal. Ya se hinca mi dad, like, she gets him on his knees, and she's got him at gunpoint. And both my mom and my dad have said this story to me to tell me, like, this is legit, okay? Mm-hmm. And my mom's holding him at gunpoint. Y se empieza a mear mi dad. Like, he starts pissing his pants there, like, on his knees. Wow. And she goes, hey, my mom, that's psycho. She's like, she's from Stark County, bro. She's psycho. And
then after going through what she went with him, I mean, it
was like everything was boiling out. So this guy's gonna die. Like, he felt like he was gonna die right there. And she goes, mira, te puedes morir ahorita o puedes firmar los divorce papers porque ya I'm done with you. No, y el vato firmó los divorce papers for adultery. Ahí se acabó el pedo ahí. Uh-huh. And that was, after that, my dad got into some trouble and he went to jail. And I was around that time, probably 5, 6 years old, something like that.
How did you handle that dysfunction, you know, as a child? I mean,
dude,
a lot of times, you know, we have to do things to be able to, you know, kind of like block it out of our minds, all the dysfunction and the violence and all that shit.
It was, there was a time when my dad left, like when my dad and my mom were divorcing, my dad like kicked her out of the house and like told her to leave and stuff. And we were homeless living in her car. And, I remember, I don't know what I was doing. I can't remember like what exactly it was. I must have been like 3-4 years old. Where I just made her laugh. And I remember making her laugh. And I remember making her laugh in like a really tough time. Like when she really needed to laugh. And I think that was what made me so happy, just to bring her laughter, you know? And there's been times where she's been really down and out, especially after she lost my stepdad, where, man, I made her laugh con madre. Mm-hmm. And she really needed it. And, man, that's what I live for, bro. My purpose is to not make people that are happy already laugh, but the people that are really depressed, I like to pull them out of their hole. And my mom could tell you, man, there's been some times where I make her laugh where she's just like really needing that laugh, where she was at wit's end and her soul's end, and it's just like, ya no puede, and it's that, man, that laugh. She always tells me like that before I was born, my dad was trying to get me aborted. And I feel so bad talking so much crap about my dad because eventually he does come around. But before I was born, he was trying to get me aborted, and she went to sleep, and she had a dream where the Virgin Mary appeared to her in a dream and told her that she had to have me as a kid because that I was going to be a big blessing to the world, a gift to the world, and that she had to, no matter what, make sure that this child was born. And so my mom said that she's going to have me. Thank you. My mom said that she's going to have me, and she told my dad, like, no matter what, like, I'm going to have this baby. And if you don't, my dad had already, like, put aside the money for the abortion in Reynosa. It was going to be $275. And he had already, like, set aside the cash, like, this is going to happen. Like, I'm putting it away in the piggy bank and everything. And my mom said, no, I'm not going to go over there and abort this baby. Like, I have to either... if you want to take me, as soon as I get out, I'm just going to jump in traffic and we're going to both die. But I'm not going to go over there and kill this baby and come back alive.
Yeah.
I won't be able to do with it. And so she ended up having me. And so now every time that I make her laugh, like on that level, she goes like, that's what the dream meant. Mm-hmm. Like, this is going to be a gift to the world. And every time that I make her laugh, she's just like, for her, that's everything.
Your mom's been very spiritual for as long as I've known her.
Oh, yeah. No, but she's a mighty woman of the Lord, man. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, a lot of it, too, man, because when my dad and her split up, when she started trying to find, another boyfriend, my dad would stalk her. Gacho, bro.
Yeah.
And he would stalk her. Y luego, whoever was thinking about getting with her, los agarraba a trancazos, güey. Yeah. Like, and they would be like, nah, it's not worth it. Not worth the drama.
It's the if I can't have you, nobody else can.
See?
Attitude, yeah.
And she went out to a dance, Grupo Mas dance, and she met my stepdad there.
And how many years was this, like, after? How old were you when that happened?
I must have been like right around four or five. Like, my stepdad been raising me since I was like 4.
So you were the only son of your biological dad and your mom.
And my mom, yeah.
Your brothers and sisters are from your brother and sister from your stepdad.
Yeah.
Orale.
Yeah. And my stepdad was fresh out of the army, bro, and he was a machine. Like, this dude was like strong, dude, like un toro. Mm-hmm. And he was
the perfect patriarch.
Sí, dude. Like, this dude was just, y le encantaban los chingazos también. And he goes, like, my dad calls him up and goes, hey, like, you're dating my chick y todo. Like, ahí te voy a caer para unos chingazos. Ahorita, like, I'm going to end that real quick. And he's like, cáele. And my stepdad was the only one that ever stood up to my dad, to where when my dad drove by, my stepdad was out there with a muscle shirt. He estaba jacked el vato. And my real dad just, like, saw him. He's like, it just kept going.
Yeah.
And that was what made my mom trust him, like, to be the defender, you know, like, and that was, man, for real, that's what he was. And me acuerdo una vez, like, my stepdad had to put my dad in his place, because my dad, during one of his stints in jail and stuff, he got out and he said that he was gonna take me out for my birthday, and he promised me that he was going to take me out for my birthday. And I me dejó plantado, like, I was there waiting with a backpack, and he never showed up. Mm-hmm. And he showed up a couple of days later. He's like, oh, I'm here now. And my stepdad went outside and he goes, if you're going to be like that and you're not going to fulfill your promises, don't even bother coming around anymore. Really? Y se la cantó.
He was a man of his word.
Yeah.
And he expected your biological dad to do the same, you know.
Yeah, no, and he put him in his place real respectfully también. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't like, he's like, I'm trying to respect you, but come on, don't leave this kid planted around like that. Like, you promised him it was his birthday, and we could have done something for him, but we thought you were going to take him, and se quedó aquí.
So when your stepdad came in, it kind of like, it gave you some stability in life as a child.
Bro, like my stepdad, man, my stepdad like raised me. He was since I was 4, and he was an amazing man. And I'm a stepdad now because of him. And like my mom didn't want me to be a stepdad, but he did such a great job that I feel I was obligated to be a good stepdad. And I think I've been a great stepdad to my older kids. I've raised them since they were 4 and 6 years old. And I got 2 kids of my own, and I treat them all the same. And I wouldn't be a good stepdad. I wouldn't be a stepdad if it wasn't for him at all. Like I wouldn't.
You stepped up to the plate and gave you some stability and
big time.
You know.
And he taught me how to dress, like how to tuck in my shirt, how to line up my buttons, and like the stuff that you like, how to tie a tie, how to shake somebody's hand. He taught me all of that. And how to, you know what was crazy? That guy taught me something that que se me quedó this one time. This one time, I got caught up with some friends, güey. Estamos de cagaleros, güey. And this one time, me and my friends, like, we broke into the band hall. Hicimos like vandalizing y graffiti, todo el pedo. Like, lo robamos feria, and like, it was just a giant mess. I got caught up with the wrong crowd at the wrong time, and
mischievous,
nomás cagando el palo just to be cagando el palo,
and accepted by the crowd that
yeah. And I'll never forget it when we got busted. We got everybody got sent to the alternative center y todo el pedo. And I'll never forget it, bro, because he found out that we had taken money. And man, my stepdad sat me aside. He like really railed into me how, like, man, he goes, no lo puedo creer que yo estoy criando una rata. Ugh, bro. I never stole anything ever again, güey. He goes, nobody likes a rata. Nobody can stand them. Nobody wants to be friends with them. Nobody wants to do business with them. You can do anything else, pero no seas una rata. Aquí en mi casa, no. No, una rata, yo no. Bro, no, hombre, güey. That speech right there, dude, I never even entertained the thought of stealing ever again.
It hit you to the core.
Gacho. Like, for me, stealing is like, like he made me feel every bit of that conviction. And I was like, I never entertained the thought of that again. Like, that was done. I understood exactly, like, after that. He was like a really stern, when you would get mad, he was a real stern guy, but he wouldn't get mad all the time.
He was a blessing to you and your mom and
sí,
brothers.
Bro, and deja tú, his mom, my step-grandma, bro, what a lovely, like, lovely old lady, like an old Mexican woman con bigotito, like, just a chubby, jolly, happy to feed her man. Like, always happy to feed this which was his dad, and his dad was this tiny guy, bro. And he's the guy that was the voice that I mimic for Plutarco.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Wow. And so the voice that I got for Plutarco was from him. And but his demeanor was he was this really small guy, and he was a Korean POW, and we didn't even know he was a POW camp prisoner and he escaped, like, cut some fence with some wire cutters and was able to manage to get out. And we never knew this until he died, and they gave us his paperwork and everything like that. Mm-hmm. He never talked about it. But this old man was so small, so chaparro, and my stepdad, who was like this, like, real big muscular guy, bro, he feared this man. He was so scared about this old man. He was just like, no, whatever my jefito says, no, whatever. Hey, look,
Respect.
mad respect, bro. Like mad respect. And he was just a small dude, but man, my stepdad, bro, he was like, no, like he was like a little quivering puppy around him. It was really, really like a mental, to see it. I was like, wow, like it was really amazing to see this. So I learned how to like respect my dad, you know.
Yeah.
Even like when my real dad came around, he started coming around later in life, and I was able to still kind of like forgive him, because I was able to see how my stepdad treated his dad, and with respect and everything like that, he was able to approach his dad and like really honor him. And whatever he said, it was like, no, I'm gonna do that.
That's what I was going to ask you, because you know, you went through your high school years, and your stepdad was guiding you, and I don't know if your biological dad was in and out of the the scene.
He was in and out, and I have a joke about him. Like this is one time he had a custody of me for a weekend when he was out, and the entire 3 days he spent it with his friends at a car wash, and I was in the truck jugando carritos, and he was just partying with his friends for 3 days. And I have a whole joke about it. And pero I later on in life, he taught me a lot of game, bro. Like he taught me so much about driving. Like, dude, that guy on the road was a phenom on the road.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because when he finally came back at a regular, consistency, he ended up like being with you at your shows and everything.
Yeah.
And you ended up bringing him in, and I mean, you put aside all the bullshit and all that happened.
Yeah.
And you were able to, forgive him for everything that went on between, your mom and him and you. And
there was a big moment there was a big moment for him. Like, for him, it was like, I had already been going on the road and stuff, and he needed a job, and I told him, like, dude, like, why don't you just go with me and like help me sell merch? I'll give you a couple of $100, and you just help me set up the shirts and help me get to the gigs. Nambe, after seeing the hustle, he was like, man, this is awesome. He loved it. He was like, man, you're going around town, you're telling jokes, you're making friends, everybody's wanting to buy you beers afterwards. Like, man, this is awesome for him.
Mr. Popular.
See, he loved it.
Yeah.
So he started.
And he was seeing his biological son, kicking ass.
Bro, he never, that's one thing that I can never take away from my dad, is that he always was showering me with how much he was proud of me.
Praise.
Oh, yeah. Like, he showered me so much. Like, every time he's like, Chi, wow, mijo, like, man, I'm so proud of you. Every time you go up on stage, like, man. And then I did a couple of shows with like Paul Rodriguez and people that he grew up watching, and I was like, I'm upstaging them gacho.
And there comes a time in life when they just realize, and they start seeing things for what they are. And that's what he did, man. He saw you and he was proud of you for what you were doing, even though he knew he probably had a lot to make up for you.
Oh, see, big time. He felt that. Like he totally, we had so many talks about that. Like, we had so many talks about him trying to make things up. I think that's why.
Did he ever tell you he was sorry for stuff?
Oh, yeah. Oh, but man, yeah.
Some stuff from the past and all that?
We had all this closure.
Made amends?
Oh, yeah, big time. And I think it was really important because he was really blown away at how quickly I forgave him, And in the Bible, it says that if you don't forgive others, the Father in heaven won't forgive you. And I think that's one of the most actually overlooked parts of the Lord's Prayer, is forgive others as you would have them forgive you. If you don't forgive others first, the Father won't forgive you. And I think I was so easily ready to forgive him because my mom had already forgiven him. Mm-hmm. And my mom, again, she's one of those powerful women of the Lord that has taught me how to forgive somebody. And my mom, she forgave him. Like she was, hey, I thought like he's forgiven. So I was able to forgive him real easy, and he was able to go with me on the road with no kind of like no animosity. And
as soon as you accepted him and forgave him, he became your protector.
see,
You wouldn't let anybody mess with you, man.
no,
right?
bro, not at all. There was this one party that we did for a border patrol, and this one border patrol agent got real drunk because he was the border patrol had a wife that they got divorced, and then the lady got married to another border patrol agent from the same sector, and they were having the Christmas party. Y ahí estaba con el otro new husband, and the other dude estaba ahí like just watching them have a good time, you know. And this guy's getting drunk and getting like just angrier and angrier by the second, and he's over here like finally gets up to the lady and goes up to the new husband, and he tells the girl, "Hey, you need to go and sit over here with me." Todo pedo el vato. And they started to cause like a kind of like a commotion in the middle of the show. And then he's trying to get another drink, and they're cutting him off. And he's like, "Hey, pues dame algo para tomar, hombre, dame algo para tomar." And they're like, "Nah, no," they're cutting him off. And then he comes up on stage, or I'm in the middle of the dance floor, kind of performing in the middle of the ballroom. And then the guy comes up on stage, and he's just like, "Hey," and I'm trying to make fun of him, like trying to diffuse the situation.
Yeah.
And this guy's so drunk, he doesn't even know that, like, he doesn't even know what's going on. He thinks like I'm one of the waiters or something, and he starts trying to put money in my shirt pocket to buy him a drink. "Hey, give me a drink, hombre. Give me a drink." Well, when he goes up there, my dad goes up behind him, güey, y lo agarra de la belt, güey, and he just pulls him back. Like, So once my dad grabbed him by the belt, all the other border patrol agents like got and swarmed up the area, and I was like, "Hombre, se está haciendo un desmadre."
Yeah.
So, but I think he was always there as my protector more than anything else. When people would offer me drugs, way like I don't do drugs. Mm-hmm. I smoke weed. That's about it. But oh man, if they would ever offer me drugs, my dad would be, "Hey, dámelo pa acá, dámelo pa acá."
El cocaine, de
Sí. And no, man, my dad would party. He made so many friends partying with him, like gacho. So on the road, he's got his own cult following that he developed. But I think the biggest thing that he came up with on the road when we were driving was this one time we were going to a show in El Paso, and this was fresh off of the Prende la Vela video going viral.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Oye, mijo, we should, ¿sabes qué? Tenemos los bumper stickers de Prende la Vela. We should get some candles, and we should put the bumper sticker on the velas." And I was like, "Really, Dan? You think that's gonna work?" And he's just like, "Sí, mijo, se venden porque se venden." And I go, "All right." We pull into like a dollar store, bro, and we get all their candles that they have, like the basic white candles, and we start putting the stickers on them. And we drive up to the show in El Paso, and he's got this little box of candles. A ver cómo se venden, bro. He sold those things out in like 30 seconds. Like as soon as he laid them out, bro, this guy walks by and he's like, "Oh, ¿a qué tanto están las candles, sir?" And he points to the candles, and my dad looks him up. Y el vato tiene como a gold chain, y el vato he looked like he had feria. And my dad goes, "Están at $20. Están at $20." And bro, the guy said, "Dame cuatro." And so the guy shelled out $80 for 4 candles right then and there. And when the guy showed up to his table with all the candles, all the friends that he was sitting with, they're like, "Oh, where'd you get those? Oh, el jefe de Raymond lo está vendiendo." All of his friends got up, bro. They all bought candles. He was sold out in like 30 seconds, bro.
Wow, man. What an incredible idea, man. And
Dude,
it's so simple, right? Like, who would have, not, you know?
I cannot tell you that todo el money que me debía in child support, he's made it up for. There was this one time we were doing a show in Odessa, and I had probably 10 cases of candles. And we were selling those candles so much, bro, that we ran out. And it was in the middle of a Tejano Festo. Estaba Little Joe, estaba Ruben Ramos.
Yeah.
And I'm going up in between bands.
The perfect crowd to buy.
Perfect crowd, bro. And I'm in between bands, and every time, right before I'm going to go out, get off stage, "Hey, poros cowboys, que se oigan los cowboys." By the way, I'll be selling candles right there. Yeah. Y se hacía una línea between bands. Yeah. Bro, I'd be selling candles like through the roof, bro. And then we ran out, and estaba Israel Garcia with me. And he'd be like, my dad's, go to HEB, tripa. Give me another case of candles. Bring all the candles you got. And he would go to all the dollar stores, all the HEBs, anywhere you can get anything. We cleared out all the candles.
Sell out.
Bro, we made like $5,000 vendiendo candles that day.
It's incredible.
So, it's nomás con puras velas.
Something your dad left you, man, that idea, bro.
That idea, dude, has been making money since...
What happened to your dad? I mean, from one day to the next, he was gone.
You know, my stepdad was in the... This is a very important lesson, way. Out of all of this, I think, because my dad had a very bad way with words, and he was always spewing destruction.
Your biological dad.
My biological dad. Mm-hmm. And my stepdad ended up getting sick with like diabetes, like kidney issues.
Okay.
And he ended up in the hospital before he passed away he was there for like 2 months.
Who passed away first? Was
my
it
stepdad?
Your stepdad passed away first.
Yeah. And my stepdad was in the hospital from like Valentine's Day to April 13th.
How painful was that for you, man?
Oh, bro, it was...
See your stepdad that
raised
you and kind of guided you through your life.
It was crazy to see him in that state, bro. But before he got into that state, it was almost like as if he felt it coming. He had a moment with me, and he told me, like, he told me, he pulled me aside. He had already like gone to the hospital and stuff like that, and they were discharging him, and we were just hanging out there at the hospital, and he was okay, like he was being discharged and everything like that. And one of the last times that I saw him actually conscious was this moment that he told me that one of the best things that he ever did was hijack that boy and raise him as his own. And I thought he was gonna be fine, you know. Yeah. And then a couple of days go by, and my mom calls me. We need to get your dad to the hospital. He's not responsive. Like, he fainted over here. And that was the last time that I had ever seen him conscious, you know. After that, he was in a bed for like 2 months from Valentine's Day to April 13th. And he passed away, and I had a show the next day after he passed away. Pero while my stepdad was in the hospital, my dad era bien gacho. Like, he has no feelings type guy. So he said, while my stepdad was in the hospital, he says, no, pues si se lo va a llevar a la chingada, se lo va a llevar a la chingada. Bro, 3 months later, my dad is in the hospital. After he said that, bro, he brought it upon himself. And he ended up in the hospital and died the most terrible death that I've ever seen anybody go through. Like, he was in the hospital from July till December, bedbound, unable to do anything, unable to swallow. They had to feed him through a G tube.
What had happened to him?
I think he got a stroke. I think he had like a stroke because he had real severe diabetes. My real dad had diabetes también.
And he wasn't taking care of it.
My dad no se cuidaba para nada, bro. Like, you know how he would treat his diabetes? With a 2 liter of RC Cola. Y unos honey buns. Wow. Like, that's like le valía madre. Like one of those dudes. And he ended up in the hospital, bro, got a stroke and starved to death. Like, I saw him just depleted from he had such a negative personality to people, like, because he was a nurse, so he knows how to care for people. So anybody that would come in there with lackluster care, he would gripe them out, complain, and to the point where really people were like not wanting to come around and treat him anymore. Mm-hmm. So I would have to go over there and advocate for him and stuff like that, and I would talk to him there. Like, during that time, I'm looking at him just fade away, and I'm thinking, like, man, like, I just buried my stepdad, and now I'm gonna see my real dad like pass away a few months later. Mm-hmm. And but it was because of his own words.
Yeah,
he called it upon himself. Like, my stepdad was a real faithful man of God, bro. And for my dad to say something like that, like, he just brought it upon himself. I know it. And to see my stepdad, like, to see him with my mom by his side the whole time, never left his side for 2 months. She stayed there at the hospital. She slept there. My mom was a rock next to my dad, my stepdad. And then when my real dad was in the hospital, all the women that he's ever loved with, all the women that he had children with, nobody came to visit him.
Did that was that sad for you, man?
It was terribly sad, but it made me see life through it made me see life through somebody that had lived a life like the right way, and then seeing my dad who lived the life the fast way. And then my grandpa died shortly after my dad. Like my grandpa, couldn't handle it anymore. He had already buried like 3 of his kids. So after my dad passed away,
Your stepdad, your step grandpa.
No,
your biological grandfather.
My biological grandpa,
Okay.
which is Cyril Orta Sr.
Okay.
My dad, Cyril Orta Jr., passed away before he did.
Wow.
And it was just too much for him to handle at that point.
Yeah.
And so seeing my stepdad in the hospital with my mom, and like just having a majestic death. When he passed away, my stepdad passed away in a way that he would have wanted to go. Like they took him away to a surgery. He didn't even make it to the operating table. He just coded and left. Like he was gone. But that's how he would have wanted to go. Like he didn't want my mom to see him in his weakest state or nothing. Like, and my mom wasn't gonna leave his side. So my stepdad, when they're wheeling him away to a surgery, he's like, I los machamos, you know. My real dad died a terrible death, bro. Like I was there the night before he passed away. We had a talk. I told him, Dad, you know that I love you, right? And he nods to me, yes. And I go, and I know that you love me. And he nods to me, yes. And I go, you know that I've forgiven you, right? And he goes, yeah. And you go, and I know that you've forgiven me because I've fallen short as a son. And I need your forgiveness too. And he goes, yeah. And I go, and I love you. You know that, right? He goes, yeah. And you love me. And that's all that matters.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, I'll see you later, Dad. And I took off because the visiting hours, it was like already 10 o'clock at night. And they called me at 4 o'clock, 4:16 in the morning. Your dad passed away. Nobody was there.
Yeah. Solo.
Nobody was there for him. Nobody was there at his final moment. All the women that he loved, nobody was there. Nobody.
He was alone.
He was all alone. And then my grandpa, when he passed away, my grandpa was a righteous man, bro. Everybody was around my grandpa when he passed away. Everybody was holding on to his hands. I was holding on to his feet. My grandma was holding on to his hand. Somebody was grabbing his head, and he just drifted.
Loved and respected. And appreciated.
And appreciated a dignified death. So I saw 3 men die within a year's span. That meant a lot to me.
This is una escuela chingona, man.
Yeah. And 2 of those men held their head like in a righteous place. And I saw them, God gave them a dignified death, the way that they would have wanted to go. And I saw somebody that lived a fast life go a terrible way. And it really cemented my belief in to keep my head on the right swivel and not to let it go to the different paths, because we're all tempted every day. Pero it's when you keep your head right there on the right path, man, the Lord will always work things out to do it the right way. And that was the biggest takeaway from all of that.
Well, I want to tell you, Raymond, that I'm really happy that God, had us cross paths, man, because you're a stand-up guy, and I've always loved you, man.
Igualmente, Rock, you've been a father figure to me when my dad wasn't there, or my stepdad. Like the things that I've learned from you, like my stepdad or my dad, they would have never been able to teach me, you know? I admire the relationship that we have, because we can always like you're like a father figure to me, because I've learned probably like about half of the stuff that I've learned it from you, as far as like show business and like how to maintain and build relationships in this side of business. It's been great, man. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate your talk show, and I appreciate this platform that the Lord has given you, and I hope that it keeps on growing for you and flourishing big time, man.
Yeah, and then my love for you is unconditional, bro.
Igualmente, bro. You know that, bro. I got your back.
100%, carnal.
Got you, papa.
All right.
I
Raymond
appreciate your
Orta.
interview, man.
Yes, sir.
God bless you guys, and may the Lord keep you and bless you and keep shining his face upon you, and the blood of Jesus cover your homes. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.